Yet somewhat damp Helsinki as we continue our coverage here of the ECL Elite Division Spring Season Final. Sin, we are back, and man, is it still good to be here.
Oh, yeah.
First two games of the series in the books yesterday. hREDS, our two-time defending champions, taking a 2-0 series lead. They only need 2 wins today to not only win the spring season title, but potentially crown themselves as our first grand champions as well. It is up to SAWO ESPORTS to dig themselves out of this hole and maybe bring us right back here tomorrow. Time will ultimately tell, but there's a long road to get there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle all the way here. hREDS, no stranger to this kind of position, no stranger really to being on land. We talked about that a bit yesterday. SAWO kind of new to these sort of events here. Got to wonder if that mentality, not only going up against hREDS, but kind of being the first time all together on land has sort of affected them so far. They have a tall task ahead of them, but you know they're coming in today hungry as ever.
Absolutely, and again, so much that these two teams are playing for here. Of course, it's not just the bragging rights. There's a little bit of money at stake as well. As you get a look at the prize pool that we have available here. Again, this was our first season with a split season format. Of course, back in our winter season, it was hREDS winning that 6K Euro prize pool. They're looking to do the same here in spring, and if they were to do so right here tonight, they would also get that extra 10 grand in terms of getting the job done. However, it is SAWO that has that opportunity to win this spring season final, which would force a series tomorrow right here between those two teams with even more money up for grabs. I mean, Sin, this season itself has been one of the more interesting ones that we've had the privilege of covering here in the past 3 years. Yeah. And especially in that time, we've now been able to cover so many seasons. We've seen the emergence of hREDS, SAWO looking to do the same thing. And the way the playoffs kind of played out really shows that as well in terms of the two paths, the trajectory that these two clubs have been on.
Absolutely. We kind of expected hREDS to be here. SAWO, not so much. They definitely had more of an uphill battle. You think back to that round one, winning the first 2, then dropping the next 2 to Havu. Really kind of looked like they were in trouble. They stormed back, win 2 straight, win a 7-game thriller against Frölunda, who everyone had pegged to be the rematch here against hREDS. Not so fast as SAWO defeats them in the second round and find themselves here against hREDS again. Once again, up against it. Kind of the world against them, but, you know, they're going to stay hungry. They've been kind of an underdog team, at least in the minds of some, throughout this entire season, despite being seeded so high when you think back to their round 1 disappointment last season. But here they are in the finals.
So a reminder, of course, for those of you joining us here in Helsinki, and, of course, those of you watching around the world, it is a best-of-7 series here in the final. 2-0 hREDS. They only need 2 more wins, but we will follow this series for as long as it may go. And not only, of course, are we celebrating a champion here, one way or another. Throughout last night's broadcast and tonight's as well, we are celebrating the best from this season. And last night we handed out the first half of our end-of-season awards, including Keskitalo of Goons winning comeback player. It was his first season back in Elite after a year off. An incredible season for him. Goons making it to the Final Four for the very first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Keskitalo was absolutely integral in that. Goons had such a good season and really are one of the more brighter points of the ECL Elite, kind of one of the most bright futures that we have come to realize here. And they really put up a fight against hREDS as well. And I think very soon we could find them on a stage like we have here.
And, of course, the other 2 awards that we had, first and foremost, and we'll see what we end up throwing it here too. But some interesting results across the board regardless. We had the likes of our transfer of the season as well, which also came as a bit of, no real surprise there in terms of who was able to win it. It was Teemu of this SAWO esports squad. And tough to argue against the idea that he was the biggest new addition to a club when his club finds themselves here in the finals.
Absolutely. You kind of felt like that vote really sort of came down to the wire and hinged on kind of who would make it to the finals. Remember, we had Flyer Kungen as one of those prospective transfer of the seasons here. And if you got to think if Frölunda were able to make their way, picking up him would have been a huge boon. But here it is for Teemu. He's had a tremendous season. Has looked good throughout these finals as well so far, despite his team being down 2-0.
And, of course, that final award that we handed out last night, it was for Rookie of the Season. Stiff competition, of course. 4 of the 5 finalists from the newly promoted Stargazing Club, but it was the lone wolf. It is ZSC Esports Kermit, who ended up winning this award, and again, very, very tough to argue with.
No, absolutely. He was phenomenal this season, and, you know, I was always wondering why we hadn't seen him in Elite quite yet, but he felt personally he had a whole lot more to kind of, you know, bring to his game and improve that to be ready for Elite. He dropped in here, and he was absolutely ready, and he really lit the league on fire for ZSC Esports, who unfortunately just narrowly missed the playoffs again.
And that brings us to the big three tonight: top, forward, defender, and goaltender. And we'll be starting off with the latter as we celebrate who was viewed as the top goalie of this season. Now, again, for the very first time, our voting was turned over to the general public through sportsgamer.gg. We allowed everybody to kind of decide, okay, who is it? You know, in the past, we had done player-only polls, so they were voted on by a jury of their peers, essentially. These were the final five: Kape of Frölunda, FaZe of hREDS, Koffelainen of HV71, McSavid of Färjestad BK, and of course Nikke also in action tonight against SAWO. Sin, 5 deserving players, but as we turn it over to the winner, perhaps unsurprising, yet again, goaltender of the season, it is FaZe of hREDS. And we'll be able to hear from him in just a few minutes as well, and perhaps you can get his thoughts on that. But no real surprise, of course. Not only, of course, now has he won this award when it was voted on by fellow players, he's won it according to the general public as well. It's tough to argue with the result.
Absolutely not. I mean, back-to-back champions. You can't win a championship without a good goaltender, and FaZe has been the best in Europe, so to speak. And you could argue one of the best in the world here, if not the best. He has just set the bar so high for goaltenders. He's so steady in his crease. He rarely moves out of position. When he does, his reaction time will get him right back to make some of those key saves.
Absolutely. So with that, again, we will have more awards a little bit later on in the broadcast. But for now, we get to switch our focus to the task at hand as you get a look here at the team stats through the postseason thus far, hREDS and SAWO Esports. Sin, what stands out for you?
I mean, right now it's hREDS with that goal differential. That is what you need to win games, is a good goal differential. You see right now, SAWO have been pretty close to 500 throughout the entirety of the playoffs. It's been enough to get the job done, but here they are going against the best of the best, and they scored 3 goals in those 2 games, but it simply wasn't quite enough. You know, that tough second period in that first game really kind of put them in that situation where they initially dropped that early advantage that they did have. So definitely going to look for them to be getting some early goals and then being able to maintain that advantage and not play into hRED's style.
And, of course, we have the team lineups for you all here. The same 6 for each side that we saw in action last night for SAWO Esports. The front 3 of Jurska, Moja, and Vatu, of course, as we've seen all season long. Captain Tombu with Teemu on defense, Nikke in goal. And, of course, as we look over at the hRED side, the championship team from last season, they stick together, rightfully so. Villapoika, Benito, and Nicky Dangles with Domi and King of Apes on defense, and FaZe between the pipes. And Sin, as we always do, we'll get into our individual breakdowns here. We start off with the centers. It is Moja and Benito going head-to-head. Now, the numbers advantage certainly on the side of Benito at this stage, but in terms of the face-offs, we did see Moja put up a very, very good fight, so perhaps that's one of those kind of key battleground areas that we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Moja was really winning some of those key draws and getting possession. You know, the tough thing about that is you still have to play against hREDS when you have the possession. You know, the start of possession is key, but with how aggressive that hREDS can be attacking those puck carriers, how, you know, good their collapse is around those puck carriers, you know, you really have to move those pucks quick, take quick shots to take advantage of that. And, you know, we saw in their power play, even though they were able to gain the zone at times, the second they lost it, it was so hard for them to get back in. And, of course, for Benito, what else can you say? He is kind of the prototype of what you want in an ECL elite center, prototype in a captain, arguably. And it's really hard to argue with 2 back-to-back champions and 2 wins away from a third.
He certainly helped lead the way for hREDS in the first 2 games of that series yesterday. So we look over here at the winger comparison next for these 4 of the best that we have in a competitive EA NHL setting. As again, for SAWO Esports, it is Jurska and Vatu. On the other side for hREDS, Villapoika and Nicky Dangles. Incredibly strong numbers across the board for all 4 of these guys, 4 of the best in the world. Simply no doubt about that. So very intrigued to see what we get out of this particular matchup. And in just a few moments, Sin will be joined by Vatu to kind of get his thoughts on what happened yesterday and how everything played out. So we'll turn over to that here in just a few moments. But obviously, I think the pressure has to be described as perhaps a little bit more on the SAWO side of things. Going to be very intrigued to see what the mentality is when it comes to the SAWO squad for this particular matchup. So again, just a few moments away from the word there.
How you guys doing? Sin here, joined by SAWO Esports Vatu here, and obviously not the result that you guys wanted from the first two games yesterday. You're just kind of wondering, did you guys sit down and talk and maybe discuss some adjustments that you wanted to make for today?
No, we didn't talk a lot about yesterday's games. I think we played well, but that was just not enough. We made too many big mistakes, and that's cost us games.
Absolutely. As we talked about a bit yesterday, mistakes at this level can be extraordinarily detrimental here. But, for you personally, you and Jurska, really big parts of that offense, but you've really improved that two-way game as well to get to this point. What do you guys think that you need to do to kind of up your game to try to beat that hREDS defense?
I really don't know. It's just too hard. Have to play best what we can.
Absolutely. I mean, the best games that they can. So there he is. You guys heard it from Vatu with SAWO Esports. Thank you very much for your time and good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Yeah. And we'll throw it back over to the casting desk here and hear a bit more from the pregame.
We are good to go, Sin. Thank you very much again, and a big thank you to Vatu as well. And again, we'll be hearing from a member of hREDS in just a few moments. For now, though, we take a look at this defensive matchup and looking at what we have here yet again. And I have Sin joining me once more, and tremendous job there. But as we look at this defensive battle, again, the captain and Tombu and Teemu for SAWO. Don't want to say revolutionizing the defense for SAWO, but certainly taking it to a different level. Such a similar story to what we saw with hREDS when Domi and King of Apes were made as a pair for this defense.
Absolutely. I mean, really hREDS kind of set the new bar for defense in the ECL, and I really think that SAWO's kind of, mimicked that a lot of ways. We see in the NHL a lot of kind of copycat teams happening after a team wins championships, and we're seeing that here from SAWO. They used to have very collapse-heavy defense and then counterattack. They still have that, but you see them kind of integrating the blue line stand and a lot more down-low cycles trying to create some of their offense the same as hREDS does. Maybe not quite on the level just yet, but to be able to throw that game back in hREDS' face is exactly what they're going to need to do here.
Absolutely. So again, very intrigued to see what this matchup presents. One of the more intriguing matchups when it comes to the head-to-head, but perhaps no more intriguing matchup than this one right here, our final head-to-head. It is the Battle of the Netminders. Again, you have Nikke for SAWO. An incredible season in our winter campaign. He is the face of this season as well, going up against the man in phase for hREDS, who just secured yet another Goalie of the Season award and certainly has the numbers to back it up in both the regular season and now here in the postseason as well. So tremendous work there, and I do believe we have Sin on standby and about ready to go. He's going to get to speak with the man himself, and we'll throw it over there.
All right, well, second time's the charm here as we get this mic working here. As I said, joined by a phase of hREDS here. Once again, you won that goaltender of the year. How do you think that your play has contributed to the success of your team to win these championships?
I think I have played good. I get a lot of help of the 5 players in front of me, and it wouldn't be possible without them, to be honest. They helped me a lot.
Absolutely, man. Defense is a 5-team effort out there, with the goaltender as well. But, we got to kind of bring up a follow-up question to that. The first time you won this award, it was voted on by just the players. This time it was voted on by the entire sports gamer community. Kind of how does that feel to you to know that not only the players think that you're the best, but also the community does as well?
Of course, it feels really good. It's like big confidence boost, but I mean, it's just like a bonus for me. That matters most is that we win.
And speaking of winning, King of Apes yesterday in his interview said that he feels like you guys haven't quite reached your full potential here yet in these playoffs, yet you're still 2 wins away from winning your 3rd straight ECL Elite title. Are we going to see that full potential hREDS tonight? And more importantly, what does that full potential hREDS look like? Can you guys just take on anyone in the world?
I fully agree what Abe said yesterday. I mean, we haven't played our best yet in these playoffs, but we still managed to win those important games, so that's like huge thing for our team. But I'm pretty sure that tonight we will show our best and it will be fun.
All right, well, good luck getting those last two wins at FaZe, and we'll see you hope maybe up here in a little bit. All right, and after that, we will be throwing it back to the desk as well to continue with our pregame coverage leading up to the final games of this series.
All right, everybody. So again, a big thank you to Sin for conducting those interviews, and thank you to FaZe as well for standing up here and not forcing me to feel small. Standing next to King of Apes one time was certainly enough. As Sin is back here with me, and thank you very much. Of course, tremendous job as always. Now, again, you know, it's a tough spot. It's our job to hype this up as much as we possibly can. You know, everybody wants to get to the action, and I promise we are very, very close. But we had to bring something back that we haven't really done for the majority of the season. That's talking about the 3 keys to success for each of these sides. And, you know, we are in the fortunate position of course, getting to watch these games and kind of within this put what we feel like, obviously there's a bit of our opinion in there, but also we get to look at the public reaction to these games and even get to talk to the players as well to see what they felt like they could have done a little bit different. So in terms of talking about the keys to success, and we'll throw it over to the SAWO side of things first and foremost, it's an old classic. Shout out to our colleague, of course, and Mr. F5 Penguin for this one, but first key to success and simply has to be they got to shoot the puck a little bit more.
Absolutely. We were a little bit critical of them yesterday when they got into those situations where we'd seen them score goals against Frölunda, those high slot. They opted for that extra pass, and I think here today they can't really take any chances. They got to throw pucks on net, crash in the net, get gritty, get dirty, because oftentimes you're not going to be able to beat FaZe straight up here. The second point is another one that we had to bring up. You know, you got to make them power pay. Make them pay on the power play here. We love our play on words at Sports Gamer, and that was simply not enough for them on the special teams. I don't think they didn't convert a single time. They had a 5-on-3. They had multiple power plays when hREDS got into that, you know, penalty trouble, and at the end of the day, they weren't able to convert, and that kind of played a big part in them losing.
And of course, the final key here, it is desperation time for SAWO. It's a best-of-7 series. They're down 2-0, needing to win 4 games here tonight to walk away with that €6K prize. And of course, if they do that, they would also force a second series between these two teams tomorrow for a further €10K at stake. There is a lot of pressure on SAWO. Gets no bigger than this in terms of the stage that is set. And of course, on the other side, we have our 2-time defending champions in hREDS. And first and foremost, and I mean, the key talking point here has to be that, yes, they won both games yesterday, but even King of Apes acknowledged way too many penalties taken.
Absolutely. So they have to stay out of the box. I think you keep giving teams chances, SAWO's going to capitalize eventually. They didn't yesterday, but today is a whole new day. We've seen it time and time again. You throw those percentages out the window when it comes to situations like this. So for hREDS, they got to stay disciplined. Watch those sticks. Watch those extra bumps against those players without the puck. We've seen that called a lot here, and I think they're going to have a lot more success and be able to shut this team down and put them away.
I mean, certainly, those last 2 keys kind of go hand in hand. You want to start on time, and you want to put this series to bed as fast as you possibly can. A victory for SAWO here in Game 3 could be the start of something, but if hREDS take that 3-0 series lead, they could very much be on their way, Sin, yet again to a 3rd straight championship, something that has never been done on this stage. So again, we will see in just a matter of moments if that is the case. All right, everybody. Well, Sin, I hate to say it. We try to keep our credibility here. I lied. We need a few more minutes before we can really get things started here again with the 3rd game of this series. But it gives us the opportunity, I don't know, to hot dog and grandstand a little bit. I mean, we have this tremendous backdrop behind us. It's certainly surreal to still be here in the first place. So why not take advantage of the fact that the camera's on us for a little bit? Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is backs against the wall for SAWO. No matter what, leaving here with a champion crown, whether that's hREDS once again or whether SAWO is able to make things incredibly interesting and perhaps even force a grand finals tomorrow, in which case all 7 games in one day, it's going to be a grind no matter what situation kind of comes out of it. But hREDS, they don't like to mess around. They like to make short work of their opponents, and I'm sure they're looking to pick up these next 2 wins within, they say, the next 2 games, but I don't know. I still feel like SAWO can at least take one off of these guys with how close those first 2 games were.
Now, I do have to wonder, and I had this question for you as well, in terms of what could be viewed as maybe a slightly delayed start. The longer this goes, does it benefit either side over the other, because I imagine the approach for hREDS is to get the job done as soon as possible, whereas, you know, hey, SAWO, I'm sure at this point they're just anxious to get this started. As we do get a look at hREDS, and I mean, no surprise, as calm, composed as ever. We've yet to see King of Apes put the glasses on, but he's certainly doing some chirping on the other side, as hREDS are bound to do. They have earned the right. If any team has earned the right to have that little bit of extra confidence, it would be our two-time defending champions.
And I don't know if this is just natural personality for if he has a sixth sense for knowing when the camera is on him at some point, but he just really seems to bring out the best and very animated individual. And of course, having him right in the middle there, it's got to be some kind of a morale boost, keeping this spirits light for his team. On the other side here in SAWO, maybe a bit more of a focused approach here. You know, a younger team, I would say overall as well, and on this kind of big of a stage, there. You can see trying to keep those hands warm as well, as we do have a little bit of wind coming over here through these foggy conditions, we'll say. Luckily, no longer raining here in Helsinki.
Absolutely. The rain blessed us a little bit. Some people in the SD hockey tournament to our immediate left here weren't so lucky a little bit earlier on today. Not the best conditions we were hoping for, but as we got close to the showtime, certainly things started to clear up a little bit, and we are very thankful for that. And you know, it's just interesting now. We've hit that point where these two teams just about ready to go. Both still looking calm. You know, you can tell there's some talking going across the way there as well. And you know, it's funny because you mentioned to me yesterday in terms of what we saw whenever one of these two teams were playing. The other group always seemed to be in the chat supporting, rooting the other side on.
Yeah.
This was the matchup that they wanted.
It absolutely was, and, you know, you never kind of know when it comes to hREDS whether that's, you know, some support, some gamesmanship, some trolling going on, maybe who they'd rather play. Maybe they're just a little bit tired of playing Frölunda. Remember, they matched up 3 times in a row, once with Frölunda sweeping them, once with hREDS sweeping them back, and, of course, that last season, the 5-game series against Frölunda here. But hREDS right now nigh unbeatable in the finals here. SAWO, this is their last chance to really turn the tide and shift the narrative back into their favor, but it's good to see them looking still pretty loose. I mean, you know, backs against the wall, sure, but as we've always said throughout them, you know, for them in the playoffs thus far, once they got out of that, you know, first round especially, they kind of been playing with house money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, this was the goal, certainly. The target, at the very least, was to get out of round 1. They did so with a little bit of a scare from our friends, of course, at hREDS Gaming, and then as well beating Frölunda multi-time champions in 7. We are moments away from the start of Game 3. Again, this tournament will conclude tonight. One of these two sides walking away with €6,000, and of course, as well, could be a further 10 grand at stake. hREDS could win that today. SAWO would have to win tonight, and then also win tomorrow.
Yeah.
So certainly a long road, but if you're hREDS, you are 2 wins away, as Sin from we mentioned, €16,000. 2 wins away.
And absolutely, I mean, we can speculate now as we've got some time. Obviously, we've asked King of Apes, we've asked FaZe now at this point. We've got to talk, you know, a little bit of a chance to talk to some of these players in between stuff, away from broadcast, you know, away from the lights and the cameras, so to speak. But it still boggles my mind that hREDS, 2-time champs, 2 wins away from the third one, they still feel like there is more that they can offer. There's more that they can bring to the table, and you and I can't really decide if that's confidence, if it's true, if they do have another level. Nonetheless, hREDS right now, the best team in Europe by far, and, you know, with them feeling they have an extra level, obviously, you know, could be the best team in the world.
Absolutely. So with that, everybody, the time has arrived. Game 3 about ready to begin. hREDS carrying a 2-0 series lead here in this best of 7, looking to really push SAWO and their backs against the wall if they were to be able to take a 3-0 series lead. SAWO trying to get right back into this one, and 1 win would certainly do that. And Sim, we see an early offside call here. We did see plenty of those throughout the first 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely, but we did see SAWO starting with a bit more possession in the early going. Obviously, just the first whistle here, but hREDS with that early possession. Offside forced by SAWO, so that's good. You don't want to see them giving up any zone entries early. They want to be able to establish their own momentum. You see Vachi just trying to charge his way into the zone right there. Never a bad idea before hREDS can establish themselves on that blue line. But again, throughout the entirety of the series, we talked about how important the first goal is here. Extra important, especially if you're SAWO.
Again, ECL Elite Division playoff action here with Sports Gamer. SportsGamer.gg. These two teams playing for, again, at the moment, a 6K Euro prize pool. More money at stake as well. Although time will tell exactly where that goes. And right now, still, Sim, we're seeing that battle between the blue line. Both these teams kind of struggling. It's a slow and steady start. One could argue who that benefits a little bit more.
Yeah, I would say in this case, I think it's got to benefit hREDS. We talked about it. They're more than happy with playing this kind of style hockey. See right there, an interesting attempt. A shot on goal, a poke right there. Kind of a scary situation for FaZe in net.
hREDS try to get this one out and back down the other way for their first real attacking threat of this game. And, well, somebody said they had to start on time. So far it's been a little bit slow, but a quick goal here could certainly turn around the narrative as Nikke forced to make his first save of this contest. So he redirected that one. We do have a delayed penalty for the hREDS side of things, and again, in terms of the keys to success we put up for hREDS, so far not so good in terms of taking any bit of advice. There's the offside call. SAWO will go on the power play here about midway through this first period, and perhaps importantly so. I mean, Benito, the centerman and the captain for hREDS, to the box.
Yeah, but we talked about it. You know, if you're SAWO, you have to make them pay for their mistakes. That was part of their keys to success, and if you're not doing that, hREDS has no reason to be more careful with those sticks, and they haven't done that so far. And we'll see what's going to happen here. If SAWO can make them pay, we may see a shift in the play from hREDS down the stretch.
Off the face-off, clean win. Thought there might be a set play. They get held up. Maintaining possession here, though. SAWO looking for something specific, trying to get that defense moving to open up that space. First 30 seconds, no shots on. King of Apes had it momentarily. Nicky Dangles now able to clear the zone. And that first minute, not much doing for SAWO.
Yeah, not a shot registered either, and that's kind of, I'd say, to their detriment here. They're going for another zone entry, but it's just so tough. Again, once you lose that zone, maybe an errant pass right there, a chance for them to turn things around, but hREDS just so good with the puck, so good working out of those kind of high-pressure situations, and already almost out of this power play time.
20 seconds to go. Teemu now for SAWO ESPORTS. Tombu tries to get one in front. That's broken up by Nicky Dangles, who will lead it down the other way. We are back to 5-on-5 hockey here. And it's hREDS in the attacking zone. Benito tries to go behind the net. Loose puck is recovered, and we've seen a couple of errant passes as they try to start those breakouts. Fatu has it here now. Sends it down low. hREDS able to quickly take it away. Both teams right now looking for high quality over everything else, and they've really yet to find it. King of Apes can't get that pass through. It's Benito one more time now. He's bumped off the puck. And a very similar pace to what we saw in those first two games right here last night. Again, hREDS winning both of those, as you can see in the top right-hand corner of your screen. SAWO will dump that one in, but it's not going to work out. It is an icing call. hREDS face off in the attacking end.
Yeah, it looked like they've had a couple plays like that where they've shot a puck and maybe expected a forward to be streaking in. So maybe some nerves right now for SAWO. A couple miscommunications here, and you're really not going to want to afford that here against hREDS. You keep giving them offensive zone draws.
Absolutely, a face-off one here for SAWO, and we'll see what they can do. Again, their first trip to an ECL final here in the Elite Division, the highest division of competitive sixes in the EA NHL community here on the European side of things. For our money, of course, we made the trek over to Helsinki as two Americans, and certainly what we view as the highest division in the world, not just the European side of things. We have 4 minutes to go in the first period. Still looking for our first goal of this one as Domi tries to throw it on and does, but Nikke's there to make the stop.
I like that decision coming out from Domi. There hasn't really been a high percentage of shots from either of these sides, really even shot attempts here, and kind of waiting for one of those teams to break the mold here. But again, high stakes in this game. Everyone's kind of being careful right now.
Set play off the draw there, broken up, leaves him with a bit of bated breath there. You just never know with how quickly these two teams can find that bit of offense when that first goal might just happen. We have less than 2.5 minutes in the first period here of game number 3. hREDS trying to put that pressure on. SAWO doing a good job to maintain possession, but it will be offside yet again. Down to just over 1.5 minutes left here in the first period, and very, very similar, Sin, to what we had seen out of those first two games. It's almost a mirror image.
Absolutely, and if it's a mirror image, that doesn't bode well for SAWO here as they drop those first two games. They're going to need to try to find something here, maybe go to that dump and chase, but nice zone entry here off the draw from the neutral zone. Yerska.
We'll see what they do. They go around the back of the net. It is picked off, and hREDS now perhaps with one more chance of their own going down the other way. Villapoika tried to find Domi. Here's Benito, his shot on, loose in the pads, still fighting for it. And finally, the SAWO netminder able to get a piece of that one and stop the play. 16 seconds now in the first.
Kind of the highest danger chance of that period right there happened from, well, just kind of shooting that puck on. And we've talked about it throughout the course of the season. Shoot that puck on net. Good things can happen here. And we're going to see yet another offensive zone draw with plenty of time left. Remember, hREDS scored a late period goal in yesterday's matchup.
Big time face off here as Benito loses that one clean to Moja. Great play. One more chance now for SAWO in the closing moments of the period. It goes back into the neutral zone. Great play. Here's Nicky Dangles. Can't get the shot off. He elected the pass. And that will do it for the opening 20 minutes here, as we will get a look at the physical play that we've seen from Villapoika perhaps, or maybe not, in the grand scheme of things here. So there we go. We're back to it. And it was an interesting hit, and really one of the few highlights that we had in that first period. That was, for the most part, a stalemate across the board.
Yeah, it absolutely was. A lot of neutral zone play. You know, both teams trying to get those clean zone entries, and at times not really fun. And success you see there for SAWO, 0 registered shots. I mean, we had it as one of their keys to success. They're gotta shoot the puck here to kind of end that period with a face-off advantage, time and attack being even, but not a single registered shot. Having that power play time, I got to say, that feels like a bit of a loss for SAWO. Some missed opportunities. We talked about it yesterday. They had some missed opportunities here. I think maybe at times they're just overthinking what they need to do at this stage, and just need to, maybe not look at hREDS as this daunting 2-times finalist, but just look across as a team that they need to beat. Simplify the task that's in front of them. Maybe that will give them a bit more success here.
Second period underway, and we'll see what happens here. Of course, the action, as always, brought to you by our friends at Wilhelm, Como Lakritsi, and ST Hockey. Big thank you to all three of them, as we have switched perspectives here, so it will be hREDS going down to the bottom portion of your screen, as we'll see what happens here. There's the outlet pass just out of the reach of Jurska. He's still in a foot race for it. Comes up with it behind the back of the net, poked away. Moja wanted to go to the point, and that pass to Tambu is off the mark, and unfortunate pass there.
Yeah, absolutely. As unfortunately, we're going to see SAWO try to regain the line here and trying to get something established, but there's just no space right there. The sticks of hREDS just all over the place, really breaking everything up. And you kind of saw that was Tambu creeping in there on that previous possession with the errant pass, and you could just see how much SAWO want to kind of hedge their bets a bit, collapse a bit early, get someone into position a little bit early so they can get some of those chances that they want. It's just not paying off.
There's the space for Nicky Dangles, drops back to Benito. That one goes all the way through the slot, held in the corner. Back up to the point for Domi. Let's see where he goes. And again, it's right back down low. Both of these teams employing very similar strategies. Benito won a pass to Villapoika, and a great save there by Nikke, the biggest of this game 3 so far, as a follow-up shot is broken up. Nicky Dangles gets it back. Benito shovels one on. Loose puck just wide of the post. Still loose in front. Moja trying to carry it out, and he finds Jurska. Here comes SAWO down the other way. Villapoika tries to go around the back of the net, and then it still feels like SAWO are trying to play hREDS' game, and, well, surprise, surprise, hREDS are a little bit better at their game than anybody else. SAWO holding on for dear life as that one's poked away by Teemu. It's Benito throwing one in front, another stop there by Nikke off of an opportunity from Villapoika, the team's golden helmet wearer, his team leading scorer here in the playoffs, and you see why. Nobody better in the world, perhaps, in terms of attack zone positioning, as hREDS have it in their own zone here yet again. Again, just 2 wins away now from walking away with a 16K euro prize, but another mistake is made, and SAWO will have yet another power play chance in. This has to be, I think, their 6th, if not 7th, of this series so far, still without a goal.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's Nicky Dangles. That'll be heading to the box, one of their better two-way players on the wing right there, and definitely a big loss, of course, but the thing about hREDS, they got all 5 guys out there who could play fantastic defense. It's on SAWO. You have to send a message. You have to make them pay. Make them worried about throwing those poke checks out.
There we go, off the face-off. Loose puck recovered, and now out to the corner. Teemu is there to hold it. Of course, just one transfer of the season last night. The biggest addition to a new club, as Jurska throws one on. Finally, they get a shot registered. Faye is able to make the stop, and it might be difficult for him to make saves at this stage. Nice block there, and We end up switching perspectives here yet again. We'll get that crowd audio back with us as we go from the hREDS side of things. Tombu still keeping this puck alive here for SAWO. His shot stopped once more by FaZe, and he will make the cover as finally SAWO getting some shots off on goal. Not the highest quality, but you got to get something going, especially too for FaZe. If you didn't see anything in the first period, you can't be all that warmed up.
No, absolutely not. But again, FaZe seems like a guy who's never quite out of it.
Yurska's shot, another stop there, and FaZe denying the follow-up chance as well. Great saves there by the hREDS netminder as Moja dominating the face-off dot here against Benito, and we'll see if he can get another face-off win here. 22 seconds to go on this power play. It is hREDS who are able to come up with it. Good pressure there to try and keep it alive, but Benito will send it all the way down, and we once again will be back to 5-on-5 hockey here, which is 6 minutes to play in the second period.
Definitely some better chances right there for SAWO. You can see them picking up the pace. The pace of this game overall is ramped up. Bad turnover right there. Unfortunately, they won't pay for it.
That was Tombu there, just not able to move that puck in time. Still looking for the first goal of this one, Game 3 in this best-of-7 championship final. A lot of money on the line. A couple of nice trophies on the line here as well. This one is dumped down all the way down for icing, so hREDS will get an attacking zone face-off, and we'll see what they go with.
Absolutely, and Benito, hasn't quite been able to solve Moja quite yet here, but this would be the time to do so here. Getting late into the second period, still looking for the first goal of the game.
And off the draw, it's another tie-up. hREDS trying to build a little bit of face-off momentum. They won the last two. SAWO trying to get it out of the zone. Good pressure here. Benito has it down low in the corner. Goes all the way back to the point, out of the reach of Domi. Not able to keep that one in, and already down to 2 minutes in this period. Nicky Dangles, King of Apes save, and kept out of the reach of Nicky Dangles once more. It's Vatu now for SAWO. Hands off for Moja, throws one on from the side. Keeping FaZe honest there between the pipes. Big hits by Yurska to keep this one alive. Final 10 seconds. Can SAWO get one more attacking opportunity? hREDS looking to say no to that question, and they will. 40 minutes of the 60 gone, still without the opening goal of this Game 3.
Absolutely. It's, again, the pace of that period really ramped up there as we saw a lot of back and forth action, a lot of shots being taken. That massive hit in the neutral zone absolutely folding him like a lawn chair, but still, they weren't able to get that puck into the zone. You saw how much trouble they had just to try to cross that blue line with cleanly by any means. When they did that, you saw Vatu with the puck, just seconds remaining. Again, instead of shooting that puck on, he tried to feed that past to Moja, who was covered by those two red jerseys. It's like SAWO, they want what they want here. They don't want to take no for an answer, but unfortunately, for right now, those plays simply aren't there. We know hREDS, are one of the best defensive teams, and they're proving it right here, and they are no stranger to playing these close games whatsoever. We've seen them win countless times in these situations here. SAWO, perhaps not as used to that here. And again, I still get that feeling that SAWO is playing hREDS game, and you're just waiting for hREDS to get that advantage on the scoreboard.
So this is it, the biggest period of play for SAWO in their career as a club at this stage. The third period of game number 3. They trail 2-0 in this series. They desperately need a win here to try and fight their way back into this one because, well, needless to say, not that we want to call anything a certainty. We have seen 3-0 comebacks before on this stage, but certainly winning 4 games in a row for SAWO here tonight seems rather improbable. They really do need to find a way to win this one as hREDS go offside there early on. And of course, as always, we look at the moments like this, we kind of look at how the players end up kind of reacting on the ice, if it gets a little bit spicy or not, a little bit heated down the stretch. hREDS right now, they really have to be feeling zero pressure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've got the series lead. They've got the championship advantage, obviously, with the last 2 here, and you're just kind of seeing them almost toy with their dinner.
Gigantic hit there, man down for SAWO while they have it in the attacking end. That one clips the outside of the post and will once again be held by FaZe, and we'll have a face-off here The attacking end for SAWO as we'll take a look at the hit there that caused the injury to their center in Mozia.
Yeah, absolutely. That almost looked like some neon-knee collision here. And we're seeing the post-whistle stuff kind of heat up a little bit. A lot of, L1s after whistle, some pokes even coming out at times here. These players getting a little bit chippy down the stretch here as the stakes get higher and higher and higher. But I think you said it best. hREDS completely comfortable and in the driver's seat.
Off the face-off, Vatu's shot goes wide. Bambu sends that back down now for Yerska. We'll see where he can go with it. Trouble again, and now here come hREDS down the other way. Villapoika denied that opportunity. Yerska able to pick this one up. Again, if SAWO were to win this series tonight, and they just might, after a goal like that.
What a play right there, crossing the neutral zone. That was Tamu jumping up into the play to provide that support right there. Through the gap, gets the first initial pass, then threads the needle back over to Yerska. You saw the celly from the boys right there on the ice, on the tables as well. Just a brilliant pass over to Yerska. You saw FaZe moving over, but in that case, that lateral movement not quite fast enough to keep up with the pass. SAWO Esports get a huge, huge first goal here. Not late in the third period, but late in this game, and now hREDS going to have to play some catch-up with not a whole lot of time left.
Second time in this series, SAWO have scored first. Can they make better of the opportunity that is now in front of them? Of course, a reminder, if you're enjoying the action here, whether live in Helsinki or live on Twitch at twitch.tv/sportsgamergg, first and foremost, we thank you for joining us. Of course, make sure to check us out as well at sportsgamer.gg. Our website has all the information that you need to get all caught up with what we're about here. Of course, it's in the magnitude of this tournament, as we've talked about. It's not just the money that is at stake. It is the bragging rights. It is the opportunity to be called the #1 team, the very best on European soil.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's you're now seeing hREDS kind of on the back.
Great opportunity there, and a big save. Nicky Dangles denied from a point-blank range opportunity. Domi has that one knocked loose. Vatu trying to generate the speed, goes into the back skate. Sends it low for Yerska. He'd love to score a second goal right about now. One-timer just wide on the blocker's side. A great opportunity for SAWO. Less than 9 minutes now. hREDS have the pressure on them. If anything, though, they thrive under situations like this, as that one's blocked. Benito tried to go to the point, and that one's going to go all the way back down to the hREDS zone. Precious time ticking off the clock here.
And you can really see the shift, the kind of change in speeds of hREDS' game right there. Those passes coming all the more quicker, but right now that's not working in their favor now. SAWO are able to make those turnarounds.
Here's Villapoika waiting for a bit of help. The captain takes care of him and sends SAWO back down the other way. Yerska tried to use the boards to get it low. Good teamwork. Here's Vatu back from Mozia. Tried to go back down low, and King of Apes was there to pick it off. That pass off the mark sent right back down. They don't have possession, but right now the clock is their friend. SAWO trying to battle back into this series. They're down 2-0 in a best-of-7. I don't need to tell you how scary a 3-0 deficit would be. There is no icing on the call. Maybe caught King of Apes off guard a little bit. Again, more precious time off the clock. Here is Domi. He goes down low. They tried to go around the back. Tamu was there to take it away. Gets it to Vatu. He's got the space and the hustle. Gets it to Yerska. Short side stop by FaZe. Another shot on stopped, and Benito able to get that one out. 2 minutes to play here in the third period of Game 3, your European final. Here in the ECL Elite Division, the two best teams this season, and arguably outright. You could argue SAWO have earned that nod. Trying to knock hREDS off at the top of the mountain. As Kings of the Hill, Nicky Dangle's shot just wide. Benito for Villapoika. It's loose in front, now out to the corner. 45 to go. King of Apes has shot on. Nikke makes the save and covers.
Wow, just under siege here in the final 5 minutes of the third period. SAWO just in survival mode. I was getting a bit worried that they're just going into a defensive shell, but so far so good. They are surviving, but 40 seconds left for hREDS is a whole lot of time.
Big face-off win for hREDS. Nearly knocked loose, but held in. Around the back for Villapoika. He's bumped off the puck. Scramble for it. Vatu for Yerska. Now under 30 seconds to go. hREDS trying to get back into the zone, threatening to send FaZe up. And the extra attacker, big blocker save Puck down behind the goal line and back to the point. We'll see what they can do here. Still fighting for it. A scramble. Who's going to come up with it? SAWO do. Out to the half wall. hREDS hold on to it. Extra attacker out. Nikki Dangles with 9 seconds. Domi, his one-timer blocked. Still fought on for it. Domi again for Nikki Dangles. Fighting for it. It's off to the corner. And SAWO eSports are going to win game 3. We have ourselves a series.
Absolutely unreal, gutsy win coming out from SAWO eSports. You can see them stepping away almost immediately for a break right there. And hard to blame them. That was a sweaty game there. But you know what? They clutched it out. They won a blue-collar game. They just shut down the defending champions in hREDS. That is not an easy task in any single sense of the word right here. And I mean, that was just absolutely impressive, especially down the stretch with that, 5 minutes left when hREDS were just completely in dominating possession of the puck right there. And it really felt like SAWO was all in on defense. Sometimes that could be a mistake, but in this case, they trusted themselves. They trusted Nikkei between the pipes. They were able to shut the door and pick up a huge W to make this series 2-1.
0 shots at the end of the first period. They end up with 8 in total, and one of them was enough as Yerska's goal holds up as the lone goal of the game and serves as the game winner. So tremendous job done there by SAWO. hREDS, I mean, Sim, we kind of talked about it heading into the game, needing to start on time, needing to really kind of put their foot down and shut down any hopes of a SAWO comeback, and they failed to do that.
They absolutely did. They gave that team a breath of life. And again, we go back to the keys to success. SAWO didn't capitalize on the power play. They shot maybe a little bit more, but I'm really going to look at hREDS here. Did they start on time? That was a really sluggish pace to that first period, a time where I felt like hREDS could have really taken advantage. They failed to do so. Once again, kind of a rough game 1 here. As we saw in that Goons series, they dropped this first game. They give SAWO hope, and they're not going to be happy with that performance there in that game. If they've talked about all playoffs, they feel like they haven't found that level. At this point, you got to wonder, are they worrying that they still haven't found that level that they believe they can get to?
I mean, it was interesting enough, a 2-0 series lead, still feeling like they hadn't played their best, and even more so now, have to be feeling that way. This best-of-7 series, it's a 2-1 series lead now for hREDS after the first 3 games. Again, we'll be here for the conclusion of this series right here tonight. Game 4 coming up in just a few moments. Again, whether you're with us live here in Helsinki or watching anywhere around the world, stick with us, and we'll be right back for the start of game number 4. And welcome back, everybody. A big thank you for sticking with us. Tugi and Sin here live from Helsinki. And again, a big thank you to you, whether or not you're joining us here live or, of course, watching from all around the world. I mean, Sin, we know it's a global event.
Yeah.
2 Americans, we make the travel over because how would we possibly miss this opportunity? A couple years in the making to finally be here, and we are so glad that we are. As again, last night we started off this championship round best-of-7 series. And looking now, after last night, 2-0 for hREDS, you think, man, that might start to be it. Maybe this just, easy does it. The job's wrapped up already. And SAWO have completely changed that narrative with the victory in game number 3.
One thing that's impressed me for SAWO throughout the entirety of these playoffs here is their ability to bounce back. You think about against Frölunda here as they essentially went, back and forth. Is where I guess we're in the gameplay here.
We are. These 2 teams giving us no time or opportunity to really build up any hype, but is any hype even necessary since it's game number 4? The action is underway. Makes me wonder if hREDS were maybe a little bit eager to get this one started after what was another relatively slow start there in game number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely going to want to try to make up for that mistake nearly immediately, as we saw them try to do at the tail end of that third period in the previous game. They simply weren't able to get the job done here. You can see kind of just a different feel to both these teams, the way they're skating, the way they're moving. This is a more confident SAWO team. This is maybe a little bit apprehensive hREDS team, and I think this is going to be a very interesting series as we continue on here. It's 2-1 now in favor of hREDS.
Absolutely, again, SAWO in their home, black and yellow, trying to tie this series up at 2 apiece. Again, one of these 2 teams will win at least €6K tonight. I say at least because, again, if hREDS win this, they are crowned grand champions, having won both of our seasons that make up the championship here in the ECL Elite Division with Sports Gamer. Great opportunity there, just doesn't quite go. But of course, if SAWO win, it will set up a return series between these two teams. They'll go at it one more time tomorrow for that extra 10K that is up for grabs. So again, still so much to play for. Here's Villapoika now, the loose puck shot, scores! King of Apes gets the opening goal for hREDS. A much better start for the champions.
Absolutely, just a beautiful zone entry right there. Wasting no time, didn't look for anything too pretty. Just so simple, you know, one pass, hit the trailer there. King of Apes blast that one home, and might be seeing perhaps an early timeout coming out here, or maybe a technical issue. We'll get that figured out as soon as we can here, but that's a massive, massive goal for hREDS, who really needed that. That was just a beautiful play right there off of the boards. Villapoika, I believe, drops that puck all the way back, and I think we're going to get a classic King of Apes replay right here. Perhaps if he zoom in on the nameplate, I think he just wants to watch his goal right there. It was an absolute thing of beauty.
Nope, there it is. We got it right at the tail end. The trademark there, as King of Apes gets the opening goal of this contest, game number 4 in this best of 7. hREDS, after dropping that third game on the board early. And then there's not really too much we can look at in terms of what to expect from here, because we've seen it where scoring the first goal doesn't guarantee you a win so far here in the series.
Absolutely not. Game 1, SAWO scored that first goal, and then hREDS had that 3-goal second period. I mean, it's going to be tough for SAWO to do that here against hREDS, but you know, the fact of the matter is they have plenty of time to kind of right the ship right here. But again, hREDS, you knew they were going to come out hard as a response here. They're not happy about dropping that game, and here they come again.
It's Nicky Dangles for Villapoika. That broken up by the traffic. SAWO trying to get something going down the other way to battle back into this one. Only halfway through this first period, so still a long way to go. Again, the ECL Elite Division Finals here. The best two teams that Europe has to offer when it comes to EA NHL Esports. Going head-to-head here. A lot of money on the line, a lot of bragging rights on the line between two teams that know each other very, very well. It is hREDS trying to win this puck back in the attacking zone. A good job there, though, by SAWO to handle this one. Vatu into the zone, the attacking end here. Not able to make that pass as hREDS trying to cut out this attack. A lot of heavy pressure from SAWO. Great outlet pass up to Nicky Dangles. He tries to drop back. It's King of Apes there again. His shot saved by Nikke, and he'll be forced to cover.
That's a determined King of Apes right here, really wasting no time, believes in his stick right now, just throwing everything on net, and that's kind of the right mentality for hREDS in this kind of game. They want to respond. They have the lead. They want to keep pouring this pressure on, keep SAWO on their heels, and stay themselves on their toes. But Moja continuing to do a great job on those face-offs, and SAWO love those flip plays out of the zone.
Absolutely. King of Apes, though, reading them rather well, and a big interception there, denying Villapoika the one-timer opportunity. That one off the side of the goal. Still fighting for the puck now. Yerska hands it off for Vatu. He Dangles able to recover now for hREDS. Under 4 minutes to go here in the period as we await to see kind of what's next for us. It's been a rare occasion in this series so far, a goal in the first period as this one sent all the way back around. Dombu's there. He'll drop it back for Yerska. Quick give and goes, one-timer for Teemu. That one is blocked, trying to hold it in the end here, but Nicky Dangles gets the pass from Benito. Risky drop pass, and again, a couple of quick passes to try and open things up. King of Apes back for Nicky Dangles. He can't get that shot off clean. Teemu banks it out the back of his own goal. hREDS able to recover. Held in the corner, down low, Nicky Dangles. He'll go to the point. Final few seconds, Benito, that one blocked. Great look, though. Nicky Dangles again around the back. 3 seconds, and that will do it with the puck chopped out. First period in the books, and a 1-0 lead for hREDS to start off Game 4.
It's really good period from hREDS all the way across the board. SAWO really felt like they didn't have a moment to breathe there at a lot of times. And that's what hREDS does. That's what they needed to do in that Game 1. But once again, had a bit of a slower start this evening, but now locked in, good to go with a lead in this one. And man, that goal was absolutely pretty. Just such a good pass back. We saw them throughout the rest of that period as well, continuing to hit those trailers, continuing to try to take advantage of that heavy initial collapse that SAWO likes to do. And those stats don't lie. 1:44 time in attack, about 30 seconds for SAWO. You know, no registered shot from SAWO. We've seen that a couple times from them in various periods, you know, from time to time, and that's just what hREDS likes to do to you. Whether they're shutting you down at the blue line or they're just keeping that puck in your end and keeping you under siege, winning that neutral zone battle, it doesn't matter. When hREDS dictate the pace of play, you're not going to get a whole lot of chances there. So we see that King of Apes replay coming into effect, throwing some shade at Nikkei's way, even though I think he played that okay. That was just a monstrous shot from King of Apes, but here we go. Next period of play, SAWO going to need a huge response to tie this one up.
ECL Elite Division action is always brought to you by our friends at Wilhelm, Kobel Lakritsi, and ST Hockey. This is game number 4 of the ECL Elite Division, the top competitive sixes league in Europe and arguably the world here in the EA NHL esports scene. These are two of the best, again, if not the very best. hREDS certainly have my vote for the best club in the world. They are our 2-time defending champions, the first team to ever repeat, trying to become the first team to win 3 in a row. And if they win this series here tonight, 16K euro to the team would be their total prize. SAWO have something to say about that. Loose puck still there. Yerska gets that out to the half wall, and SAWO will look to slow things down. They entered play tonight down 2-0 in this series. They just won game 3 a few moments ago to really kind of change the outlook of this. Here's Vatu now. Hands off from Mojia. Going to try to hold on to this one in the corner. It's Yerska now. Back to the point for Tombu. He's forced to go right back down. Good movement here. Vatu's shot stopped by FaZe. Yerska has it. He goes to the point. Tombu again down to the corner. Thrown on there by Mojia from an odd angle, causing a little bit of trouble before hREDS able to recover the puck. And again, Vatu trying to get SAWO right back in on the attack. Tombu's shot blocked down by Benito. But an errant pass here from King of Apes will go down for icing. So a good chance in the attacking zone now coming up for SAWO.
Yeah, pretty good response there. A little bit of pressure applied to hREDS. You saw them trying to shoot that puck a little bit more, but you saw just how good hREDS are getting in those lanes as well. Their defense staunch as ever there. But I do like the mentality coming out from SAWO.
Here's the shot blocked. Mojia is a little bit frozen up there. We'll Sin, we always get put into an interesting position when something like that happens. Do you call it as you see it, or do you just let it go? I think we'll just let it go.
I don't even know what I saw, so I have no clue how to call that right there. But
I believe it was a severe case of bonitis. As we continue on here through the second period of play, good sportsmanship as well there from hREDS to send that one out of play and to allow the teams to reset. We continue on already now halfway through the second period. An offside call there against SAWO. Again, if they were to win this series, these two teams would play again tomorrow for that extra 10K. So much to play for here tonight for both of these clubs. Again, the biggest stage when it comes to 6v6 in the competitive esports scene that we have here with NHL. SAWO off the draw. Down low for Yerska. SAWO still looking for their first goal of this game. 1-0 was the final score in game number 3. Had a very close series in terms of the final scores through the first 3 games, as fortunately for SAWO, that one knocked all the way back. Teemu will recover. We talk about our awards as well. Still 2 more to hand out tonight, top defender and top forward, and both of these clubs certainly with an opportunity to see a winner in that category as well. Both of these teams do already have an award winner. Of course, Teemu voted as the top transfer of the season, the best new addition to a club, and of course, FaZe for hREDS goaltender of the season. And I think we can see why in this series so far. While hREDS admittedly haven't been playing their best, FaZe is still there to bail them out when necessary. We've yet to see SAWO get 3, 4, 5 goals on the board like we know they're more than capable of doing.
FaZe is a machine. There's no other explanation at this point. He simply doesn't have an off day. I've never seen him really let a soft goal in, and it's just absolutely unreal. You can see why, obviously, hREDS have him so highly touted, why they have him on their club, and why. He's a big part of the reason they've won 2 back-to-backs, and of course, a very humble guy at the end of the day. We do like to tease him as a very soft-spoken individual, a little bit before we say, got to keep that ego in check there, FaZe, but he doesn't even let that phase him. He just comes out here, does his job, and my goodness, does hREDS benefit.
It is hREDS on the attack here as we approach the final 5 minutes of play. They want that extra goal that could really put the pressure on. SAWO looking to get that tying goal right here, right now. Moja in the corner. Vatu goes back to the point. D-to-D work. Teemu's shot, and it's covered by FaZe. He tracked it well.
I like that adjustment from SAWO right there. Instead of the first initial shot being taken off the D-to-D, they've noticed hREDS has been blocking those. They do that quick one-touch back to try to change up the angle, not allow hREDS to get in that shooting lane. You saw the shot got through. Yurska was there for rebound, but it was covered by FaZe.
Off the draw, Yurska can't get that shot off. Vatu still causing trouble. A step up there opens up a window of opportunity. Villapoika, Nicky Dangles, and a big stop by Nikke on the other side. He'll cover with just over 3 minutes to go. A gigantic save at this stage of the game.
Absolutely. It was a perfectly executed 2-on-1 from hREDS. The pass over. Nicky Dangles trying to go back the other way, but Nikke did not allow himself to get drawn out of position.
That one still in front. Nicky Dangles a shot on. Benito still has it. And SAWO right now holding on for dear life. Another stop by Nikke, and he's able to cover, surviving all of the pressure in the world there.
Absolutely. Must have heard us hyping up FaZe right there. He said, I still exist. I am a top goaltender in this scene as well. Makes a flurry of saves right there to keep this a one-goal contest.
Off the draw, it is hREDS in control. This one's going to go all the way back to the neutral zone. The two teams will reset. And you are watching the ECL Elite Division Final live from Helsinki. If you're here with us, we thank you. If you're watching from anywhere around the world, we know we got our North Americans in the chat as well. And we thank you guys as always for supporting what we do here. Final 10 seconds. Moja has it for SAWO, trying to get things going. Will they have the opportunity? They won't. Here's Domi on the back end. Nicky Dangles a shot at the buzzer. And that puck is held. We go to the third period with a 1-0 hREDS lead. Now so close to being just one win away, Sin, as opposed to two. We got to look at there the bit of physicality. Both goaltenders called upon to make some big stops there in that period to keep their team in it, and they very well did. It's that lack of extra goal scoring that is really starting to put the pressure on both these sides. And look at that again for SAWO. Just 2 shots now at this stage.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the lack of extra goal scoring, that's kind of been the story of this series so far. We thought that could have been a possibility. Obviously, FaZe and Nikke in net, but these two offenses as well, so good. And if you expected a team to really break through offensively, you thought it would be hREDS. But again, SAWO keeping these games so close right now. I mean, 1-goal contests, every single one of them. SAWO on top in that last one, a 1-0 victory. Almost unheard of against a team like hREDS, but they did that, made the series closer. They got a bit of work to do here in this third period. They're going to try to even this series up. They need to even up the game first.
Absolutely, third period underway. Shot on, stopped by FaZe. SAWO keeping this puck alive, though. Another one-timer from Teemu, and hREDS continuing to read that well. Wraparound bid interrupted by King of Apes. It's Tombu again, keeping this one in for SAWO. Around the back of the net from Moja. Let's see where he can go with this one. Held off by Domi. Good pressure. Vatu's there. Yurska. Vatu again has it just knocked away. Moja throws it off to the side of the goal. So close yet so far for SAWO here. Teemu across. That one just wide of the post as it was broken up. Great pressure here from the challengers, but they've still yet to find the back of the net here in game number 4. This one knocked down low again. Nicky Dangles gives chase, but it's SAWO eSports back in control. Villapoika for hREDS. hREDS are 2-time defending champions here. The top team in the world, arguably. Certainly the undisputed top team here in the EU scene, as they have the puck here yet again. Just 14 minutes to go. Sin, as always, feels like there's a long time to go. Never quite plays out that way, especially when you're trailing. That time really starts to tick away rather quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing that here. You're seeing SAWO get desperate, but they get a nice little gift of a turnover there.
Yurska throws one off the blocker. May have clipped the post. And Sin, you kind of mentioned that as well in our pregame, the fact that we're so used to seeing Yurska and Vatu throw shots on goal. Both of them, or I should say at least with Vatu, some lower shot totals than guys who have played 4 or 5 less games that have already been eliminated.
Absolutely. He came in today with just 29 registered shot total so far in the playoffs, which is exceptionally low from him. I think his winger partner had 20 more shots, and that's definitely got to be kind of a point that they need to make here to rip this puck on. Midway through the third now, it's all or nothing time for SAWO here as they're just trying to gain the line at this point, but all you need is a goal. All you need, perhaps a bounce, one shot, one opportunity. We'll see if they can do it.
Plenty of mom's spaghetti if you come home with 6K. Here's Nicky Dangles, hands it off for Benito. He's bumped off the last moment. SAWO need a goal here, as great as it was for them to win game 3 and make this a one-game series. Now here's Moja, it's knocked loose. Falling down 3-1 puts them right back into the same deficit. We have just 6.5 to go. Villapoik over the line for hREDS. Now it's Captain Benito. He's bumped off. It sends SAWO back down the other way once more. Teemu instantly running into the double team pressure as hREDS continuing to kind of put the clamps on defensively and leave SAWO with just that much less room.
Teemu continues to activate. He wants to make a difference here. He's been doing this all throughout the playoffs, all season for SAWO, excuse me.
It's Nicky Dangles in the corner. He gets it to Domi off of the sauce pass. Up the wall, 4 minutes now below the goal line. Domi has it. We'll go back down low. Precious time ticking off the clock here. Shot on, rebound, and Nikke finds it. He's forced to cover. 3:23 to play here in the third period. Still 1-0 hREDS.
Yeah, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty right here for SAWO. It's pretty much desperation time. You could feel that coming out from them in their play a lot down the stretch here, but they need to find that goal. It's been so hard to find those goals against FaZe. Yes, they won that last game, but they still only scored that one goal here. They really need someone to step up here and deliver.
And off the face-off, loose puck recovered only momentarily by hREDS. SAWO, you have 3 minutes here. You need this goal. Yerska sends it across, recovered there by Teemu. Below the goal line, a battle for the puck. Domi turns it over. Here's Vatu, elected to pass instead of taking the shot, and Domi makes the play for hREDS. SAWO still have it. Another opportunity. Teemu's shot blocked. Moja can't get one on goal. 1 minute to go here in the third period of game 4. 2-on-1 for hREDS. Benito looking. He loses it off of the back pressure. Yerska drops back. SAWO, they still have time, but they got to act quick. Here's Teemu. Between the legs for Yerska. It's on goal, trying to cover his phase. Still looking for it. Domi again comes up with it. Turned over. Yerska can't get the shot off. Domi again, another stick lift to win it back. He's been incredible. 30 seconds, 2-on-1 the other way. Nicky Dangles holds up, trying to kill some time. Gets it away from Tombu, who has it now, still fighting. Yerska over for Tombu. Over the line, it's Moja. He drops back. Shot on, nearly swept in by his own man. 15 seconds. Domi trying to hold it. King of Apes as well. This one out of the zone. Foot race for it. Benito, he's going to win it. He dips it over to the corner to kill the clock. And hREDS bounce back from a loss in game 3. They take game 4 and a 3-1 series lead.
What an absolute flurry of chances there at the end. I don't know how that game remained 1-0 throughout the entirety, but it did just that. You see the happiness coming out from hREDS right there, who are now 1 win away from crowning themselves the spring season champions, and of course the by default grand champions of this new 2-season format here in the ECL Elite. They continue to raise the bar, and for SAWO, so close yet so far, and that's been the story of this series for them.
Absolutely. So again, now you get a look at the teams. You see the trophy in between them as well. hREDS 1 win away from claiming not only that prize, but of course the first ever grand final trophy as well, in the 10K euro that comes along with it. Think about that now, Sin. 1 win away, 16K euro if they can win one of these next few games, whereas SAWO at this point cannot afford another loss. They need to win 3 in a row against the 2-time defending champions. Anything can happen in this division. We always say it, but certainly as well, SAWO right now looking at probably the largest obstacle that any team has ever had to try and overcome.
Absolutely, and you know, some tasks are easier than others, and the mentality for SAWO has to be right now, one play at a time, one period at a time, one game at a time, because you can't start thinking about the bigger picture here. If you're hREDS even maybe, I mean, you said it, one more win, 16K euro.
Yeah.
I mean, my hands are sweating just thinking about that opportunity for them. I can't imagine what it's like gripping those PlayStation 5 controllers down there, and that's really what it comes down to here. I mean, a lot on the line for both of these teams. The task is much, much tougher for SAWO. However, we've seen throughout the entirety of the season holes in the armor of hREDS and chances for these teams to be able to beat them. And 3 in a row is tough, but we've seen it done before.
Absolutely. So with that, we will be back in just a few moments. Game number 5 in this best of 7 coming up. Will this be the final game of this NHL 22 calendar year for us here, or will SAWO, at the very least, force Game 6? We'll find out in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as the action continues.